Hello everyone, I'm Melanie Jongsma, publisher of the Lansing Journal, here with Carole Sharwarko, our managing editor.
Hi.
We just got out of the annual meeting followed by the regular meeting of the Thornton Township Board. And the regular meeting was pretty basic. There's not a lot to report from that. But the annual meeting was interesting, so we want to give you a little bit of context. It was interesting in and of itself, but also in comparison to previous years that we've attended and covered. Really the underlying, what really became clear is how much trust has been eroded amongst township residents.
Yeah, really.
Trust is such a big issue, and that's going to be something that the incoming administration really needs to pay attention to. And it showed up in surprising ways tonight.
Yeah, it really showed up, and it brought a lot of tension to the meeting. The crux of the annual meeting is really for the numbers to get presented, the current standing of the three major funds in the township: the general fund, the general assistance fund, and the road and bridge fund. Those are the ones where the money goes into and the money gets paid out of. The person who's supposed to present those reports is Finance Director Robert Hunt, and they said that he was sick tonight and could not be there.
We just found out today.
This morning he called off and was not able to make it today. So
already people were suspicious.
Yeah, where's Robert? People were a little bit suspicious about that. So a representative from the township's accounting firm, which is John Casperrick Company, she came in, she saved the day, and she read these reports. So after each report, the people who were in attendance, who were Thornton Township residents, they had to be vetted at the door. They were asked to vote to accept the report. And attorney Tiffany Nelson-Jaworski explained multiple times that they were only voting to indicate that they were accepting the report into the record. They were not accepting the numbers of the report.
It wasn't not approving the budget.
Right. It was not to indicate they thought that the numbers were correct. It was just to merely say a bit of bureaucratic kind of red tape that these reports were being accepted into the record. And people really had a tough time with that.
Yeah, because it feels, when you're being asked to vote on this, it feels like you're approving it. And people had a lot of questions, and good questions. And, they came prepared to the meeting. They had looked at the numbers. I saw people circling things and making notes, and they came forth during discussion time and raised these questions and wanted answers. And quite a few times, the attorney had to say the only person who can answer that is Robert Hunt.
And he's not here. And it was totally appropriate at this meeting for people to ask questions too. So it wasn't like people just came with questions, financial questions out of the blue, or it was an inopportune time. Like, this was the point of this meeting, was to look at these numbers, and it was supposed to be, as the attorney said, a snapshot of the township finances. So not an in-depth look, but a snapshot. And people did have the opportunity to ask questions, but unfortunately, I think just about all of them went unanswered.
Right.
No specifics were given because the person to give specifics wasn't there.
Sick. So, like in a normal year, an annual meeting is very straightforward. It doesn't take long. You read through the reports and you approve them to be entered into the record. It's not a big deal, but the past several years it has become a big deal, and
all these unanswered questions have made this a huge deal. And you see, like, okay, we know Tiffany Henyard's not going to be supervisor, after mid-May. Like, even though there's been this sense of relief, you can still see this tremendous sense of frustration among residents that they want the answers to.
This is her legacy. This mistrust, this suspicion, this questioning everything and assuming the worst. One of the public commenters said, "There's no way I'm voting for this. I don't care if you vote for it. I'm not going to." She didn't want to be associated with any sense of approving this document,
knowing that it came from effectively Tiffany Henyard's administration and a finance director that has been at best not present, not very present,
not responsive.
and
that's the heart of what you'll see in the meeting that follows. Just the real broken trust that characterizes our community now.
Yeah, and the helplessness in a way of the people who were running the annual meeting to not be able to answer these questions.
Yeah. So take a look and see what you think, and let us know in the comments if you have anything to add.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I would like to call the annual town hall meeting of electors of the Thornton Township of Thornton to order. Today is April the 8th, 2025, and it's 6:08 p.m. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the state statute, legal notice of the annual meeting was published in 3 most public places at least 15 days before the meeting. The notice of meeting were published in Thornton Township, South Holland Building, Riverdale Building, Calumet City Building, and in the Shopper's newspaper in Southtown. For the record, state law limits active participation in the annual town meeting to registered voters residing with Thornton Township. Therefore, anyone wishing to make a motion, second a motion, ask a question, make a comment, or otherwise address the chair must state clearly their name, full name, address, and verification of residency. Now, I would like to have nomination from the floor for a moderator to conduct this meeting. Please come to the mic and say your name and address. And the same thing when you're second the motion.
I, Sonia Bradley, a resident of South Holland, Illinois, at 15532 Maple Street, nominate Mr. Byron Stanley as the moderator for tonight.
I, Casey Nesbitt, second that motion. Yes, thank you.
15125 Ashland, Harvey, Illinois, 60426.
Are there any other nominations? The nominations are closed. Can I have a voice vote saying yay or nay, first yay, to approve the nomination for Byron Stanley? All in favor, please say yay. Yay! Those nay? Any nays? Please say nay. The yeas have it. Mr. Stanley, can you please come to the front? Can you please raise your right hand? I state your name.
I, Byron Stanley,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of moderator
of moderator
at this town meeting
at this town meeting
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Before we get started, I'm going to talk with the attorney to give you a little information that you need.
All right. So the next item on the agenda is the motion to approve the minutes of the annual town meeting held on April 9th, 2024, as posted by the township clerk. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Before, I'm sorry, moderator, but anyone who wants to make a motion and second, they have to come to the mic, please. Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Wiedemann. My address is 21 Mohawk in Thornton, and I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the board meeting on April 9th, 2024.
Valerie Stubbs, 14801 Martin Luther King, Belleville, Illinois. I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion carries. All right. We'll now hear the 2025 financial reports. I invite a representative from the Finance Department to present the following fund reports: General Assistance Fund, General Fund, Road and Bridge Fund.
Hi, my name is Lauren Plugradt. I am from Jongsma Company in Calumet City. I am here to present the annual town report as prepared by the finance director. Unfortunately, he was not able to be here today due to illness. So if there's any questions on this report, I would ask you to direct them to the finance director as he was the one who prepared the report. Is that Robert? Yes, Robert.
Yeah, right.
So, the total real estate tax revenue was $9,651,086.95. The total miscellaneous revenue was $707,941.80, totaling for the general assistance fund revenue to be $10,359,028.75. The administration division total expenditures were $3,456,897.26. The release division expenses were $336,902.76. The total food pantry expenses were $1,743,864.12, making the total expenditures $5,537,664.14. The total net change in fund balance was an increase of fund balance of $4,821,364.61. The total assets in the general assistance fund were $26,965,322.26. The total liabilities were $8,780,578.45, and the total ending fund balance was $18,184,743.81. The total cash on hand as of February 28, 2025 was $3,514,763.30. And the total investments on hand as of February 28, 2025 was $8,631,883.83. The total tax levy, the 2024 general assistance fund tax levy was $7,650,473, and the total amount of outstanding town indebtedness is $124,039.70. And that is the summary for the general assistance fund. All right, so then for the town fund, the total real estate tax revenue was $8,453,000. Oh, you want me to, okay, sorry.
Are there any questions in regards to the general assistance fund?
Yes, there was a surplus. There was a surplus.
Which was, what was that?
Oh, sorry, let me just go back to that page, I apologize. So the total surplus of revenues over expenses was $4,821,364.61.
And that's the general assistance fund?
That's the general assistance fund.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I have a motion to accept the report on file?
And just for the benefit of the public, it's not to accept the report to say that everything in there is true and accurate, because, you know, obviously, I don't know if anybody has any questions on it. It is really a motion to say that this is the report that was presented at today's meeting and will be accepted on file.
I'm Teresa Cameron. I'm a resident of Carlisle, Illinois. I live at 145 20 Claremont Street, Carlisle, Illinois. And I motion that we accept the report as given to us.
Thank you.
Nate Fields, I'm a resident of South Holland, Illinois, 15475 Merrill Avenue, and I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
At this time, since we really couldn't tell based upon the voice vote, it's recommended that we do a ballot count. So we're going to redo that, and the moderator here will call for the ayes again. And if everybody just voting aye, please raise their paddle nice and high. If anybody is voting nay, we'll also then raise their paddle nice and high once we do that.
All in favor, please raise your paddle.
You say that here.
Motion to accept it as written, correct.
Okay, but we can still just
Absolutely. So just, again, to remind everybody, this is not to say that you agree with the contents of the report. This is to say that this is the report that was presented before you today, and it's going to be accepted on file.
And if it's not accepted, what happens?
What would be the next step?
Well, yeah, let's get to the vote first. I agree with the clerk, and let's see. And then I can ask the questions that you want.
So we'll ask you again, all in favor, please.
We couldn't hear you. You said let's just give like an hour to the clerk, but we couldn't hear what clerk else said.
Oh, I'm sorry. The clerk had just said, let's see if it passes first before I answer that question.
What was the question?
The question from Mr. Fields was what happens if it doesn't get accepted on file? And I'll just answer now. It just means it doesn't get accepted on file. It's not on file. And it could potentially say that you guys didn't, that it wasn't presented properly at this board meeting, which it is being presented at this board meeting. So as the attorney, my recommendation is to accept it on file. Again, that does not mean that you agree with the contents of the report. That just means that this is what was presented at today's board meeting.
Is there any additional discussion? All in favor, please raise your paddle.
Nice and high, everyone. As high as you can go.
You can let your paddles down. All opposed, please raise your paddle. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Okay, now we will move on to the general fund.
All right, for the general fund, the total real estate tax revenue was $8,453,568.74. The total investment income was $1,123,368.53. The total other income, refunds and reimbursements was $544,550.31, bringing the total revenue to $10,121,487.58. The total administration division expenditures were $4,616,808.91. The total special services division expenditures were $95,038.75. The half division expenses were $899,713.12. The Department Youth Services expenditures were $1,226,480.93. The Transportation Division was $908,117.15. The Community Outreach and Engagement Department was $1,218,850.54. The Senior Services Division was $1,637,408.89. The Cemetery Department was $12,000. The Clerk's Department was $41,279.30. And the assessor's division was $369,571.04, bringing the total general fund expenditures to $11,025,268.63, bringing the net change in fund balance to a deficit of $903,781.05.
That was a deficit?
Deficit, yes. The total assets for the general fund were $19,785,140.28. The total liabilities were $99,720.36, bringing the ending fund balance to $5,585,419.92. The total cash on hand as of February 28, 2025 was $6,260,549.96. And the total investments on hand as of February 28, 2025 was $5,816,611.88. The total tax levy for 2024 general fund was $12,995,356, and the total amount of outstanding indebtedness was $278,639.04. It's the total amount of outstanding indebtedness.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the general fund report as presented? Is there a motion to accept the general fund report as presented?
Kiana Belcher, 742 Evans Court, Dalton, Illinois. I make a motion to approve the red general fund.
Valerie Stubbs, 14801 Martin Luther King, Dalton, Illinois. I second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
My name is Paul Roberts, 18525 Clyde Avenue in Lansing. I'm sorry to be a gadfly landing in your cooked bowl of pork, but my question was, before the general assistance was presented, we were informed that there was no one here to answer questions. So why are you asking for questions or discussion? If I am allowed to ask a question, it is to the Kasperick firm. Are you willing to audit this year's report? If so, what is the difference from last year?
If I can explain, these are unaudited reports. So these reports come, and that's what the statute provides, is that these are unaudited reports. The township undergoes an annual audit. So every year, there is an audit of these funds. So there will be an audit, but this is a requirement of the township code that unaudited reports be presented at an annual town meeting, so you guys can get a snapshot of where you're at right now.
That we're being asked whether to accept the report. Aren't we being asked to vote on accepting fact or fiction?
No, you're just being asked to accept that a report was presented and that the report says what it says.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Why are you asking us?
Well, that's what I was trying to explain at the beginning, is that, you're not voting on whether you agree with the numbers that are in the report, whether the numbers are an accurate reflection, because again, these are unaudited reports, and the statute does provide that unaudited reports get presented at the annual town meeting. So that's why you're being asked to accept it, to put it on file. And then it'll be kept on file with the township. And at the audit time is when all these accounts do get audited. They do get audited once a year. And those audit reports are uploaded to the comptroller's office.
Okay, so I want to know when it's going to come permanent record. Why are we voting for something that we don't have what we're supposed to have? We went through this the last time.
I'm sorry, can you step up to the microphone?
We went through this the last time. Why are we voting on stuff that we don't have the initial and the real papers? This is not, if this is not ready, we should not be voting on this.
The statute requires.
I don't care what the statute requires. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. I said, I don't. I didn't ask what you care about. I said, I don't think that it's fair for us to be looking at something that you have not definitely made accountable. I'm back there looking at this paper, rattling through it, finding the numbers. I'm not going to let you make a fool out of me.
Come on now. Ma'am, I'm not trying to.
Okay, so let's start over again. Let's start over.
I'm explaining what the
Let's start
statute
over.
requires.
Let's start over.
Just for discussion purposes, when this is put into records, it has on hand February 29, 2024. It may be a typo, but dates matter. So please make sure that those dates are corrected, because it's what we're looking here. This has last year's date on there, and this is 2025.
Oh, which page are you referring to? Because there's a
12 and
15. 12 and 15? So I think that that's a reflection of what was occurred last year.
Okay.
And the bottom total is what is happening now. So that's to show you the difference between the numbers from last year and the numbers from this year.
Right, but at the top it says cash on hand. So of last year, the cash on hand was 11 million, or is the cash on hand 11 million for 2025?
Last year. That's my
Okay, so
understanding of how the report reads.
so the report reads, so as a breakdown of cash on hand, February 28, 2025 would be this year's, no.
Correct. The 6
Okay, I just
months.
want clarification so we can make sure that, because it is a little confusing the way it's broke down when it's mixed up.
Understood.
Casey Nesbitt, clarification question. We're not voting to pay these items.
They're
already paid. We're just voting, this is what you're presenting to us. And we're just saying, yes, this is what you presented. Because the trustees have already voted for this.
By the way, if you appreciate local news like this, especially if you are local to Lansing, Illinois, you should subscribe to our local news email. Click on the link in the description below and sign up today. Thank you.
So yes, correct. Basically, what it is saying is that this is what has already been done, if you will. This is this is supposed to be a reflection, an unaudited reflection of what has been spent, what has been brought in, what the investments have yielded, and so on. So all these things that are detailed in the report, that's supposed to be a snapshot of what's happening right now. And moving forward, once the fiscal year is done and the fiscal year gets audited, any sort of discrepancies would be corrected in the final audit. So this is basically a snapshot of where we're at now. It's as if you're looking at your own finances, and before you do your taxes, say 6 months prior to do your taxes, you're looking at, okay, where am I at right now? What's my money flow? What's my possible tax liability later? And then later when you do your taxes, that might change. So this is just a snapshot of what's happening now. And again, it is an unaudited report. I do understand that causes people some angst. That's not something that we have any charge over, though. It is what the state statute requires, is that unaudited report be presented by the supervisor's office with the finance department, and this is what's being presented. Thank you.
Valerie Stubbs, 14801 Chicago Road, Illinois. So let me get a little clarity. So allegedly, this is supposed to be correct. and this is what we're voting on. It might change and it might not change. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, it's just, all your vote is to say that this is what was presented at the meeting.
This is what you presented to us, and it might not necessarily be right, but it might be right.
Correct. And it'll be confirmed whether it's right or not, when you go through that. Okay, I mean, this is the way the statute's written, so we just have to comply with what the statute requires.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dan, 15249 Dante Avenue, Thornton, Illinois. In the event that these figures are proved inaccurate, could you kind of walk us through briefly about what happens after that? I mean, if these numbers have been proven to be, say, tampered with, what are the next steps, at least to your knowledge anyway, that happens? And will there be another meeting to confirm the confirmed numbers, or will we be here next year doing this again?
So every year you're going to do this. This is a requirement of the annual town meeting.
I mean, as far as these figures are concerned.
Oh, so these figures will be fleshed out at the audit, when the township does its audit, and the audit does get presented to the board for approval.
When is the
So
audit?
when the audit does get presented to the board for approval, which is usually sometime after the fiscal year has been done.
Where's it, what dates?
What is your fiscal year? March to February, right? March to February. So I don't know if the audit is in process yet. That would be a question for Mr. Hunt, and unfortunately, I don't know if the audit is in process. Actually, I can tell you, I do believe the audit is in process, and the reason I say that is because as an attorney, our law firm, if we have any litigation cases that we're handling for the township or any sort of potential liabilities, we get an audit letter requesting us to present certain information to the auditor. We have received and responded to that letter to the best of my knowledge. So that tells me that the audit is in process. So the audit.
So that tells you the audit is in progress? Or?
It is in progress. It is.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought you were still looking for an auditor.
No, I believe that we do have an auditor. So the audit is in process, and the audit will be presented at a board meeting, and will be made available to the public.
Now, it's 14801 Martin. I have one more question for the spirit group.
Right, I just want to be out of the way.
So, do you all prepare
Speak in the mic.
Do you all prepare an annual report to present to the board to show where you need to cut your expenditures? Do that here?
So, sorry, just so everybody hears. We do not show where to cut expenditures because that's ultimately not our decision as an auditor. It's management's decision of where things are gonna get cut. But what we do.
Suggestions, that's what I meant, suggestions.
So our firm is separated by consulting team and auditing team. I'm on the consulting team, so I don't work on the audit side as often. Usually, if there's something that's blatantly stand out to us, we'll let the management know, but it's not necessarily anything in a presentation. If you request that of us, that's not saying that we couldn't do that, but that's not typically part of the auditing procedure for any audit prepared.
Okay. In the village of Dalton,
Okay.
every year, you all prepared and gave it to the board on your suggestions, and let me correct what I said, suggestions on where we should cut the spending or where we can increase the spending.
Okay, so the difference is that that's consulting contract, and you're asking about the audit. We also do have a consulting contract with you guys, so if you guys engage us to help you with that, we could help you with that. But that's not the difference between the audit and the consulting side. So you were asking about audit, that's why the different clarification. So yes, we could do that for you, but it wouldn't necessarily be on the audit side, it would be consulting side.
Okay.
And if I may add something, every audit also contains a management letter.
That's what I meant, the management letter. I
Yes, so,
couldn't think of
and
it.
that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, I was talking about the management letter.
Yeah, so the management letter typically says, okay, here's what you're doing right, here's what you're doing wrong, here's where you could fix things, here's some holes in your processes and procedures that need to be plugged up. So it essentially tries to, it doesn't tell you where and how to spend per se, but it tells you how to track things better so that you are more accountable.
Exactly, and you all wouldn't do that. Township.
So our firm for the 24 audit, once again, I was not on that audit, so I don't know what that letter contained, because I am on the consulting side. But yes, we did prepare one of those management letters for 2024.
Yeah, management letters are typically, they accompany almost every single audit I have ever seen in my 20+ years of practicing in this area, so I don't think I've ever seen an audit without a management letter. And so, yeah, I mean, and some of them are 1 or 2 pages, and some of them are 20 to 30.
Exactly.
It is a requirement, even if there is no, like, if there is no suggestions, then it just says, we got, we had no suggestions.
And you have no idea whether or not they prepared one.
No, I do know
Township.
I do know they prepared one. I just don't know what it says, because I didn't. Because I didn't work on the office.
Okay, is it possible that can be presented to the residents of Thornton Township?
That would be a discussion with the trustees side. I can't determine what gets released, that's not our role, so that would be a later.
Please speak into the mic.
I believe, Mark is consulting with the clerk, I do believe that the audit, the audit packet, which should contain the management letter, should be on the website. If it's not, we'll confirm and see if we can. Yeah, the clerk thinks it is on the website.
She thinks it is.
It is on the website.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So, and also, another place to find any sort of audits that have been filed is the Illinois Comptroller's Office. You can find it for any unit of government. So that's always a great resource.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any additional discussion?
Yes, I have some questions. And I haven't had the time to go through everything, but I just have some questions. I might have one later, but for now. What is the TT Foundation? The Thornton Township Foundation, have you paid $57,000?
So a lot of times, and this happens with a lot of different other townships, as well as park districts, libraries, and stuff like that, it's sort of a fundraising arm to allow for additional money to come in that's not coming through the taxpayers. So, for instance, like the Thornton Township Foundation, again, it's a fundraising arm to allow the how can I, I'm just trying to find the right words. Okay. Actually, thank you. I'm blanking on the words, I
So
apologize.
what happens with some grants is that, I'm just getting, I want to make sure I have the mic. So what happens is there's certain grants that can't come to government bodies, but they can come for non-for-profits. So if you have a non-for-profit, which Thornton Township Foundation is, then you can receive additional funds to do like food pantries and that kind of stuff. So it's basically other way to get additional funds to help the residents.
So what was the expenditure to them? That seems like that's money coming in. This is going out. So I'm curious.
So the money going out, so a lot of the times with the expenditures going out would be like if the township paid for some food to go into the pantry. I don't know. Okay, so I did not prepare this report, so I'm not 100% sure what went in there. So I have to look at the GL.
So it's on page 4 of the general, hold on to this report. Because, and the only reason is, this doesn't seem to be able to answer the question. I'm going to carry on with my questions. But, like I said, I understand explanation, but that's what's coming in. We're showing that is what's going out. We need to hold the mic to your mouth. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What I was saying is,
and certainly go on with your questions, but I would also suggest that if there's any questions that we up here are unable to answer, we do apologize, we just don't, we're not the people that drafted the report.
okay, but you're ready to vote on it. But,
We're
okay,
just
let's go
asking
on
you
to
to
the
vote
next
on
question.
accepting the report. We're not asking you to vote on whether everything in there is accurate. We're saying that this is what was presented at the meeting today. So, you know, if there are questions that you guys have that we cannot answer, I do suggest that you forward those questions to the finance director and ask those questions directly, or so you can file communication and request.
Okay, next question. Who's our auditor?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy, still the auditor? Okay. And, I had a question. What is outreach? Can anybody answer that? It's under community and outreach and engagement for $240,000. What is outreach outside of all the other things that are
I mean, I don't know exactly what that would be, what that would entail, but outreach just as a general principle is to try and get more people to participate in a specific program or service. That's my understanding of what that means, but I don't know that exactly.
So I did see a payment of $1 million and some change. I'm assuming that's interest toward the loan. I don't know which one it's on. But I think we originally had that loan out for $5 million or something like that. What's the balance on it at this point? I mean,
That would be a question for Director.
okay, so.
Okay.
All right.
It's just showing that you just.
So I'm back again. I want to ask you, why are you asking us to vote on this and it's not accurate? I mean, when the trustees come in, they're gonna pick up this crap that you're trying to sell to us. They're gonna be already sitting in office. Why don't you get it straight first? Bring it back to us in March. You don't want it now. I don't. If everybody else gonna go for these numbers, good for you. But for me, no. Because the trustees that's coming in now is picking up the old trash that's here already. They don't need this.
They need
Get it straight, bring it back to us in March.
May. That is the truth. Too many questions out. Too much. But y'all it's a state required.
Mary Avon, 15101 Blackstone in Dalton. I have a question and a statement. Mary Avon, 15101 Blackstone, Dalton. Is Mr. Hunt the only person in finance that could have spoken to this? Is it a one-man office or?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, but he's the one that drafted the report. I don't know if there was anybody else available in his office. So somebody should be able to present it, and that's why somebody from Caspero's office is here, because at least they understand the numbers. They didn't prepare the numbers, but they understand how.
And I have a little bit of a problem with that because they're the auditors, and I would think if anything, an auditor would have gone over this and been prepared to answer our questions. That was my statement.
Well, they were just asked today because we just
That's
found
a
out
problem
today
because this meeting was posted when?
Right, but Mr.
And
Hunt
Mr.
just.
Hunt took sick today?
Yep.
It makes sense. We should not accept even what is presented to us.
Don't pay.
Because I could have run these numbers off right here, right? Thank you.
Okay. Any additional discussion? All right. All in favor of accepting the?
We have one.
Carmen, Carlisle, 4643 Kenwood, Dalton. I just have a question. I know it's a lot of back and forth going on, but just from my understanding, I know they have these town halls every year. So next year, when they have the town hall, will it still be unaudited numbers and will it still be the same presentation? They get the unaudited information and then it'll get audited later, so it's the same every year?
Yes, and it's the requirement of the statute.
Okay.
And I mean, believe me, it would be much more preferable to have the audited reports done so we don't have so many questions and concerns and we have exact numbers, but this is meant to be a snapshot of where the administration believes things are at right now.
And the reason they do this now is because it's a state statute, so they couldn't wait until after we audit to do this process.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor of accepting the general fund report, please raise your hand.
Can't hear. All in favor?
All those not in favor? All those not in favor of accepting the general fund report, please raise your hand.
Because we missed it. And I want you to accept it.
Thank you for your passion.
Just putting something on record. We're looking blind.
Now we'll have the road and bridge fund. The motion failed.
All of these reports were prepared by Rob. Every time I walk back, I walk forward, so I figured I'd.
She just ran the bike.
The real estate tax revenue was $729,197.71. The replacement tax revenue was $25,608.59. The total investment income was $106,096.57. The total other income was $48,099.24, bringing the total road and bridge revenue to $909,002.11. The total administration department expenditures were $94,534.28. The total maintenance expenditures were $25,631.34. The total permanent road expenditures were $208,465.96, bringing the total road and bridge expenditures to $328,631.58, bringing the total net change in fund balance to $580,370.53. The total assets were $3,291,513.01. The total liabilities were $729,301.66. And then the ending fund balance was $2,562,211.35. The total cash on hand as of February 28th, 2025 was $943,388.36. And the total investments on hand were $1,624,473.83. The total 2024 road and bridge fund tax levy was $883,946, and the total of the indebtedness was $37,262.45. Also, you will find on page 13 that there is a list of tools, machinery, equipment that are valued at excess of $200, listed with the description, the VIN number, and what condition these assets are.
Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the road and bridge fund as presented?
Motion and second, and then discussion.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the road and bridge fund, Valerie Stubbs, 14801 Chicago Road. I keep saying Chicago Road. King Drive, South Illinois. Is there a
Is there a second?
Dan Lee, 15249 Gonzalez, Dalton, Illinois. For the purposes of us getting out of here tonight, I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
So I would like to ask the question, in the event the residents don't accept this road and bridge, will there be any penalty to Thornton Township for anyone that we have not accepted, we voted no on?
No, there's really no penalty that I'm aware of. It would not be placed technically on file. It would still basically be a public record, but it would have a notation on there that would say not accepted on file at annual town meeting on today's date.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Kiana Delta, 742 Evans Court, Dalton, Illinois. On page 7 of 13, it has the administration expenditures, and it has salaries as $5,561.26. That's for a year.
I'm sorry?
That's for an entire year.
That's my understanding. It's supposed to be, yeah, that's the way it's reflected.
What was the salary? Say it again. Say it again. It says $5,500. It's not right. What amount?
I don't know if that's what you're saying. The highway commissioner himself, or if that's somewhere reflected maybe in the general fund. But yeah, that is what was presented by Director.
Okay, thank you.
Nate Fields, South Holland, Illinois, 15475 Merrill Avenue. The question that was asked, if we don't approve the numbers, it won't show on public record, but you said that it will show on some public record with a notation, right?
So under the Local Records Act, the township is required to keep certain public records until they're allowed to destroy them pursuant to certain requests and provisions that are found in the Local Records Act. And this would still be considered a public record. It would just have a notation on it that was not accepted on file at today's annual town meeting.
Okay, so if it's gonna appear on public record anyway, will we be able to search this information up as normal if we were to not vote on it today? If it's if we're voting for it to appear on public record, we're not voting as well, will it still appear as if we were going to search for it, just like any other record, even if we don't pass it today? You see what I'm saying?
In my opinion, it would still be a voidable document. It's also currently on the township's website as a township record, so I don't see why it would not be.
Okay, because I'm just concerned that we won't be able to search it later as we would anything else. That means that the new administration will be able to come in and rearrange the numbers, and we can't find what we're looking for. Of course, we can always FOIA it, of course, we don't know if we're going to get it, but, you know, I just think it'd be feasible if we're able to search it just like any other record. But I wanted to make sure it's clear that the residents can see what we had in 2024, at least what we went through up until 2025, versus what it's going to be for the remainder of this next year.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion?
What we have in the packet is the same thing that will be online, right?
Yes, so the question was, what you guys have in the packet, is that the same thing that's online? And the answer is yes.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the Road and Bridge Fund report as presented, please raise your paddle.
Please raise it nice and high, see some little paddles there.
All those opposed to accepting the road and bridge fund, please raise your paddles nice and high.
Is that the name? I want the name. Let me pull that up. Hold on.
Motion carries.
So what is it?
All right. The next item is a motion to place a referendum question on the March 17, 2026 primary election ballot. The proposed question reads as follows. Shall the state of Illinois, which has the second highest property taxes in the nation, deliver annual property tax rebates to the more than 3 million residential property taxpayers in Illinois?
Sorry, can't hear you.
Sorry. I'll start over. The next item is a motion to place a referendum question on the March 17, 2026 primary election ballot. The proposed question reads as follows. Shall the state of Illinois, which has the second highest property taxes in the nation, deliver annual property tax rebates to the more than 3 million residential property taxpayers in Illinois, as provided for in the Illinois Property Tax Relief Fund Act of 2019? Is there a motion to approve the placement of this question on the ballot?
And if I may also, just to give a little bit of background on the motion, this is an advisory question, and which means that it's not binding, but it's basically polling the residents. If it gets on the ballot, it's polling the residents to say, do you agree with this or do you not agree with this? And in addition to that, the way, just so everybody understands, the way that this got placed on the agenda, the way that it got placed on the agenda was a document with a request for this question to be on the agenda was signed by 15 or more electors of the township.
Casey Nesbitt, 15125 Ashland, Harvey, Illinois. I move that we place this referendum on the ballot.
Valerie Stubbs, 14801, Martin Luther King, Dalton, Illinois. I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
By the way, if you appreciate local news like this, subscribing is the most consistent and convenient way to get all the local news we publish. It just shows up in your inbox for free every morning. Click on the link in the description below and sign up today.
If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. There's nothing to discuss in regards to the resolution to dispose of personal property, so we will skip that item.
And just to be clear, that means there is no resolution. No resolution for the disposal of personal property.
Can we talk about it?
There's no resolution. There's no resolution. There's nothing proposed. There's no proposal right now from to dispose of property, so there's no resolution. So there's no action needed on that whatsoever. No. Under law, you can't just dispose of property without going through, you have to approve a resolution. So what we're saying is that there is no property that the township officials, current township officials are seeking to dispose of, so there is no resolution. So that, we put that on generally as a placeholder because the agenda has to be approved so far in advance. So there is nothing for that item. That's why that item is being skipped.
Okay, we'll now schedule the next annual township meeting. Is there a motion to schedule the 2026 annual township meeting for Tuesday, April 14, 2026 at 6 o'clock p.m.?
Yay.
We need a motion.
Yeah, motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we schedule the next town hall meeting for the date that you stated.
Tuesday, April 14, 2026.
Natalie Dilworth, 630 East 144th Place, Dalton, Illinois, and I do second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. So we now open the floor for public comments. Please approach the microphone, state your name, and please try to limit your remarks to 3 minutes.
And also, just to let everyone know, there is, after this meeting, there is another meeting at 7 p.m. That's the regular board meeting, and there will also be a public comment period during the regular board meeting.
All right. My name is Naomi LoPresto.
Talking to Mike.
My name is Naomi LoPresto.
She not talking.
No, okay, just move your phone.
Use your outside phone.
My personal now?
Yeah.
I want you to probably at the end of this, but I want to know why did you agree on the Department of Youth Services? Is that supposed to come off? So why did everybody vote yes for that? I want to know why we voted, why didn't no one question about the Department of Youth Services?
Them one has been already.
So when you come back April, whatever day it is, this is going to change, it's going to be the same?
Next year. That's next year.
Next year?
So next year, there'll be a whole nother report that'll be similar to this. It'll be unaudited. It'll be different numbers, obviously, because it'll be different things that may have happened, different administration. They may cut certain things, they may add certain things. So the report will be similar in form, possibly, but different in content.
Well, I want you to let you know, you gotta wait real good this time.
I'm sorry?
Y'all gotta wait real good this time. That's what I said, y'all gotta wait real good this time. Because so I don't know the numbers from last year to compare to this year, for one thing. Next of all, I hope next year that everything be more in order. Do not come presenting us with stuff that you have not looked at. We are not in a candy store. You are not going to continue to come doing it, and I pray that you're not here this time. You need to be gone.
Is there any additional public comment? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
And I second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. The motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for all your participation.
17. Okay. To make sure I'm not protecting you. Thank
Find out why he's here? Pardon? You're going to find out why he's here?
Yeah, I'm curious if he's got a statement. Came down for some reason.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would like to call the meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. It is April 8th, 2025. The time is 7:27. I will call the roll. Trustee Gonzalez.
Present.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Carlisle. Present. Trustee Wiedemann. Present. Supervisor Henry. Can we please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Chris Gonzalez as the supervisor pro tem. Second.
Trustee Wiedemann.
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle.
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett. Trustee Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Henry. Motion passed.
Right, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have public comments.
First is Janelle Taylor. Remember, you have 3 minutes.
Janelle Taylor, South Holland. I have a personal complaint. I'm old and I wear hearing aids. And there's a whole house between here and where you are. Why are we back so far? We're not gonna bother you. Those scenes are over. Can't we try to be a little closer? Because you could put a whole family could live in this space. I can't hear well. And I'd like to be a little closer. But that's my personal complaint.
Thank you. Vivian Allen.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. Just wanted to say first, congratulations to the trustees for the race. You guys winning. Hopefully, you'll be able to get back our township like we took our village back in Dalton. Want to congratulate everyone that is doing their role. And just a little disappointed that I saw Tiffany's car outside, and again, she's a no-show. It's just pathetic at this point. She's like a total embarrassment to us, but I'm just glad that you guys are still willing to do the business despite of her actually coming in here and doing her job, so thank you guys. Yes, and thank everyone for voting.
Yes.
Mr. Al Kindle.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to thank you for giving me a small amount of your time. My name is Officer Al Kendall, representing Cook County Board President Tony Freckwinkle. My number is 313-434-3851, 313-434-3851. So the information that I'm giving out, if you want it, text me, show me the money, and I will text you back the information. All of it I won't be able to share now, so you should probably just send me a text. I'll send it to you. For those who don't know, on the 15th we have a hospitality hires, of which we're gonna have about 70 employers that are hiring on the spot. It's not just jobs, it's about careers, and so they train people in various 5 different careers that will help you to, you got a crumb snatcher at home and you need to, try and uplift them, bring them around. This is a great opportunity. We have one program that's being organized by our Elevate program. One is that assists people with water. One is that assists daycare centers with lead abatement at their facility, so it doesn't cost them any money at all. And then the last one, operated by Elevate, is assists homes with water assistance and renovations in their homes. So those are the 3 ones. I wanted to just give you a brief summary. And if you send me a text, I'll send you the details where you can go and to apply. Of course, we have a Justice Advisory Council grant, which was $30 million. $20 million is for intervention, working with youth in the community. And another $10 million is for wraparound services for those who've been the victims of gun violence in the community, and organizations and others can apply. Those are some of the programs that President Freckwinkle and the county board and your commissioner for this area, Mrs. McCaskill, and others have worked to provide those dollars. There were ARPA grants, and I look forward to those that will send me a text, and I'll give you that information as well as others. So thanks for just giving me a few moments of your time. 313-434-3851. 313-434-3851. I'll send you the links as well as giving you other information. President Freckwinkle has a radio show. It is the 3rd Sunday of each month. So this Sunday, April the 20th, from 7 to 8 a.m. on WCPT channel 820 a.m.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Show me the money. 313-434-3851. And the president has a radio show every 3rd Sunday on WCPT 820 called First Take It Daybreak. So she's there every 3rd Sunday giving information, and I'm there every other Sunday if she's not there. Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we have approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve minutes of the board meeting held on March 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m.?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 25th meeting.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Wiedemann.
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle.
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett. Superintendent Gonzalez.
Yes.
Supervisor Tim Gonzalez. Supervisor Hayes. Motion passed.
Right. Next is approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve approval of bills? Sorry. Is there a motion to approve the general fund bills?
I would like to make an amended motion to pay the bills excluding item 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112. Those are for events that the board didn't approve or hasn't happened yet. Also for 113, 114, and 115. So I make a motion to pay the bills excluding those numbers I mentioned.
I'll second.
Motion and second, is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett?
Okay, here.
Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Right, next we have approval of the bills for the General Assistance Fund. Is there a motion to approve?
So I would like to make a motion to approve the bills excluding items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, asking that we would permanently remove those items. They have been placed on the agenda before, but they weren't in compliance with the image ordinance, and that's why they were moved to begin with. So I'm asking that we would exclude those bills and permanently remove those from the bill list and pay the remaining bills.
I'll second.
There's a motion and second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett? Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Right, next, under approval of bills, we have approval of road and bridge fund bills. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Road and Bridge.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett? Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Right. Next, we have old business. I don't believe there's anything under old business, correct? All right, and next we have resolutions, proclamations, and ordinances. I don't believe we have anything under there either, correct? Next on the agenda, we have new business. Item A, motion to approve the Illinois Township Association of General Assistance Caseworkers Conference registration fee, overnight hotel accommodation, and stipend for food and gas for possibly 3 caseworkers. One caseworker who sits on the board of the ITA GAC will stay 2 nights. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll, please.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett?
Yes.
Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, item B, under new business, request for proposal for IT services. Is there a motion? There be no motion? Okay.
And if there's no motion, then you just pass on to the next item.
All right. There being no motion, we'll be moving on. Next on the agenda is closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Yes, I'll make a motion to go into closed session to discuss the hiring, discipline, performance, compensation, and dismissal of certain personnel, legal counsel, acquisition of real property, matters pending, probable or imminent litigation pursuant to section 2C1, 2C5, and 2C11 of the Open Meeting Act. Also to discuss security procedures, school building safety and security, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property pursuant to the section 2C8 of the Open Meetings Act.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett? Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed.
7:41, we're going to closed session.
You ain't gotta take me all the way. I'll get out right. No, I'm serious. To the front row. I was looking for that. I was about to say, I asked Alicia in real space. I was gonna get
All right, coming out of closed session, is there a motion at 8:40? Is there a motion to reconvene?
I'll make a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett? Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Present.
Motion passed.
Okay, next item is action following closed session. There being none, move on to the next item. We have reports. Does anybody have any reports?
I do not.
Well, I guess I just wanted to say real quick, congratulations to the new administration coming in. And if there's anything I can do to help the transition, please let me know. And also, congratulations to Kia, the deputy clerk. She had a baby, healthy baby boy. It's Sunday, so congratulations to her. Yeah.
Right. Yes. I'd just like to say thank you everybody for coming out to vote last week. We should. I'd like to see the numbers come up. I want to see more people come out and vote because that helps our area so much, showing that we have people coming out to vote. That we have the people who come out. Obviously, we don't care. We just need more. We need more. We need more people exercising their right to vote, and however that may be. We got so many ways to do it now, whether it be early voting by mail, or the old-fashioned way on election day. But I've said it plenty of times, as everybody knows, there's power in numbers. It shows that we're involved. It shows that we're engaged, and when we ask for things, whether it be from Cook County or Springfield, it just helps showing that we have involved voters. So, like I said, I just want to thank everybody for coming out, and we just gotta let's keep coming out. So, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Anyone else? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. I was excited about
Trustee Carlisle? Ready. Trustee Carlisle? Yes. Trustee Wiedemann?
Yes.
Trustee Gray Everett? Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passed. Meeting adjourned 8:42. Did you sign the minutes, please?